Hi everybody, it's Denise, and today I am discussing the Capricorn full moon, which occurred on July 10th. And this is a 2-week cycle, so we have another good 13 days to be feeling this energy. And the Capricorn full moon can bring in endings. It can bring brand new beginnings, revelations. Secrets can come out. Sometimes they're just secrets about ourselves, right? Just kind of things that we notice about ourselves. The full moons are, by nature, they are emotional. And Capricorn, what does Capricorn deal with? Capricorn rules the 10th house of authority and ambition and achievement. It's about hard work and discipline and maturity. It's about responsibility. And so that's what the next 2 weeks may be focused on, right? Anything that is Saturnian. And anything you might have started or anything that you might have initiated or planted a seed maybe can very well culminate during this 2-week lunation. Capricorn is a cardinal sign taking on new endeavors, and this full moon will bring more endings and then new beginnings. So what is a cardinal sign? A cardinal sign says, I'm going to do this. I got this. They are trendsetters, right? And entrepreneurs, and they create startups, if you will. They definitely can. And so something, as I mentioned, can be illuminated or revealed for you during the full moon. And so the full moon is in opposition with the sun. They always sit opposite during a full moon. And so the full moon is asking us to merge the qualities of the sun with the full moon, wherever the sun is for you, right? The sun will be in a particular house for you. It may not be the same house for me, but I will talk about the horoscopes later on, right? Coming up here in just a couple minutes. So on July 13th, Saturn will go retrograde until November 28th of this year. And during that time, many of us will be in reflection, reviewing long-term goals, past decisions, or any unfinished business. This is all very Saturnian. And the full moon will start that retrograde, right? Not that we'll start it, but basically the retrograde is starting in just a couple days. And about the sun that is opposing the full moon, that is really about merging the two qualities, so of the opposite signs. So for now, or for this lunation, we have Capricorn ruling the 10th house. And so Capricorn is about achievement, it's about work, it's about career, it's about your reputation and what you want to leave for yourself in the world. It can be your legacy even. So the opposite sign of that is family. So when we have a full moon, is family. In Cancer is the opposite sign. This is also about our home, it's about where we live, Cancer, and it's also about our emotions. So when we have the full moon in these two opposite signs, it's asking us to kind of balance home and family with long-term goals, or with work, with our projects, with our authority, with our ambition, and things like that. All right. And the full moon will be, as I'm saying here, is encouraging us to find balance between our social life, our public life, and our home or private life as well, including our emotional well-being. This is the season of Cancer. We're still in Cancer, where nurturing is important, whether we are nurturing ourselves or others. And Capricorn, since it represents higher ups and career, climbing the ladder, so to speak, it can also represent the father or authority figures or father figures. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, as I said, and Saturn can reward us, but Saturn is the stern teacher, so it can restrict and punish us depending. The full moon will be about our career, our achievement, and our commitments. And as I said, if we have planted a seed during the new moon in Capricorn I feel like it was last December, then now we can reap the rewards. So the full moon right now is in a hidden conjunction with Pluto in Aquarius. So what is a conjunction? It's when two planets get together, two planets get together that are really ordinarily supporting one another. So we have the full moon, we call it a hidden conjunction because Pluto is in another sign. It's not in Capricorn, it's in the next sign. And it's going to be easier to achieve what we want or what we feel we need if we have been true to ourselves. Pluto is about the truth, and Aquarius is about authenticity. And Pluto's asking us to dig deep inside of ourselves, uncovering old wounds we've kept buried, and to be honest with ourselves so that we may reveal our true power and authenticity. If we can be honest with ourselves, we can then regenerate which is already within us. This is why they say, he's become, so-and-so has become a new person. No, he's returned to his authentic self and the way he was really supposed to be, a man or a woman, either, right? And for some of us, this is going to be very intense and deeply emotional. So the sun in Cancer will ask us to nurture ourselves through this. So let's talk about the 12 signs, and we start with Aries. It is the first sign. And the whole intro is for you, Aries, as the full moon will be in your 10th house, where it has rulership. And Saturn, the ruler of the full moon, is in your first house. So you're going to likely feel this. The moon will be in your house of career and social status, as you are the only sign with a natural chart, because you are the first house. So if Capricorn is the 10th house, then it is the 10th house, but not for everybody. And I can explain that maybe in another video, but we're going to have the horoscopes here, which will be very clear for each sign. So the moon is going to be in your house of social status, and social status can also mean you are maybe retiring and now you have a new social status, right? Or you're getting a divorce, or you're getting married, right? These are changes in your social status. And something can be revealed to you, Aries, about your career, maybe about your public life or social status, perhaps even your reputation, that has to do with something that was going on last December. The full moon can trigger you, possibly bringing up something from the past. Pluto is in your house of hopes and wishes and the future. This is the same house of unexpected change and surprises and social networks. And this is what I mean about you could learn of some type of revelation. And something can be ending for you, Aries, as Mars, your ruler, is conjoining the south node of the past in your house of daily obligations, work, and health. There we see Mars conjoining the south node in Virgo. And there's something you're doing or you're going to do with the lunar nodes. There's something that has to do with the lunar nodes that you're going to do as the lunar nodes are opposing each other. The north node of fate and your higher self is in Pisces. So the nodes, that's what they're about. The lunar nodes are associated very much with the moon. And they are the north lunar node is about fate and destiny, but this is also about what your soul's intention is for you, what your soul wants for you, your highest potential. And so the south node is about letting go of things that kind of hinder that. And the south node is also associated with your past lives, not just the past in this life, but past lives, right? And that south node is very connected to past life regressions, right? Where you're able to understand what you were doing in a past life that is hindering you in this life. It's very fascinating. Past lives, right? And so, yeah, there's something that's going on that has to do with your lunar node, right? With your higher self. So this is in Pisces. So this is something that has to be let go or overcome, because Pisces is your 12th house, and that is the house of endings. Yeah. Doubts and fears can be dissolved now, Aries, if you're willing to learn from the past or leave something behind connected with it. Trusting in yourself will be key. And the sun in your house of home and family and emotional foundation will illuminate your strengths, as it's making a trine to the north node, helping you to evolve and become your best self. This trine will make it easier for you. All right, because that's what they do. Trines are... trine is an aspect where it's in the same element, these different planets, and they are aspecting, they're trining one another, where things will be easier for you because of the same elements, the same energy that they are in. So let's look at Taurus now. And the full moon occurs in your house of faith and spirituality, education, and long distance travel. This is your house of philosophy and beliefs. It's also about expansion. So this is happening in another earth sign, Taurus, so you're probably going to feel the Capricorn full moon in one way or another. And Jupiter is in Cancer during the full moon. This is good for you as Taurus. This is good for you, Taurus, as Jupiter is at home in your 9th house. It loves to be in your 9th house. Yes, it does. Home and family can be important during this 2-week period, and you may be traveling perhaps to visit with family. This could be a good time to move house as Jupiter is supporting you in your efforts. You may feel a special emotional wellness during this time, and local community and neighborhood may be significant. The sun is in Cancer in your house of the mind, information processing, and communication. This is the house of siblings and extended family, and the sun is there warming up this area of life, asking you to pay attention to the rational and important aspects, asking you to nurture your plans and your goals, which can help then to balance your emotional wellness. And Venus, your ruling planet, is at 6 degrees of Gemini in your house of income, finances, and values. This is also the house of self-esteem, shaking up that part of your life. Yeah. As Venus is conjunct with Uranus. Uranus is the one that will really be shaking up that house, and Venus will be supporting any changes or instability that Uranus has brought in as it entered Gemini on the 8th of this month. And Venus wants you to feel comforted and add the much needed stability that Uranus lacks. Your finances can be affected, Taurus. The Venus-Uranus conjunction, which was exact on July 4th, brings in much needed change to potentially increase your money, or to kind of support, to potentially influence how you earn your money or how you approach relationships too, and the comfort you provide for yourself. And so the moon is trining the vertex, and this is a fated aspect, Taurus. Good luck can shine on you, something lucky to help you grow and expand. And the moon is also trining Mars and the South Node. Remember the trines, I don't know if you've been listening or if you're, I was explaining it, I believe, in Aries, but a trine is a very favorable aspect that can make things flow for you, that can make things a little easier. And they are in the same signs. When we have a trine, we have two planets, or two planets perhaps, that are being aspected from one another, and and so in the same element. So this is where the flow occurs, really. And so the moon is also trining Mars and the South Node in your house of romance, creativity, self-expression, and children. This is your house of fun, and hobbies, recreational activity, and entertainment. So you could really be having some fun, Taurus, possibly during this full moon lunation, during this cycle. Your belief in yourself, especially with regard to creative pursuits and how you earn your money, will really help you at this time, Taurus. Something is fated, but there's some patterns that you have to release. It can be related to relationships, work, your health, depends, and it seems to be, it may be about your daily routine, your lifestyle. There's an attitude change or something related to your beliefs during this period. But overall, it looks good, Taurus. And so we're going to talk about Gemini now. And Gemini, this full moon is happening in your house of intimate relationships, regeneration, and transformation. This is also your house of shared resources and the hidden. And so this lunar cycle will be about responsibility and maturity as they relate to your most intimate relationships or shared resources. For some of you, this will be about inheritance, finances, and debts, and any shared resources, as I mentioned just a moment ago, right? This can be a time of profound change, Gemini, and significant endings for you. and the processing of your deepest emotions. Mercury, your ruling planet, will go retrograde on July 18th through August 10th. On the 11th, Mercury will go direct. So Mercury will be at 15 degrees of Leo in your house of the intellect, information processing, and communication. This is the house that it loves to be in. This is its own house. This is also your house of plans and goals, siblings and extended family, short distance travel, and local community. This retrograde can have you visiting old ideas, Gemini, overthinking potentially. Overthinking matters. It can cause misunderstandings, especially with siblings or those who are close to you. You may be rethinking creative goals and pursuits and taking time out for introspection, which is always recommended, right, for all of us. There's a sextile with Mercury and Venus that will last about 5 days. This is an opportunity, if you can see it, a sextile, and this will be aiding you in your communication style, adding charm, and Venus is in your house of self, which is a very good place for Venus to be. All right, so let's look at Cancer, and the full moon is in your opposite sign, which is very significant as the moon is your ruling planet. So the full moon is in your house of relationships, openness, and legalities. You're going to feel a strong commitment to your relationships, Cancer, and your responsibilities during this 2-week period. And Mercury retrograde is in your house of earned income, finances, values, and self-esteem. So I'm not sure if I mentioned that about Gemini, but Mercury, I did, about Mercury going retrograde. Yeah, it's important. And so Mercury retrograde is in your house of earned income, finances, values, and self-esteem. You're going to be reassessing your relationships and family matters as they relate to well-being and finances. Yeah. The sun in your sign, Cancer, is conjoining. Conjoining is joining forces, basically. Conjoining the MC, which is associated with your career, social status, and fatherhood. And this is why I feel like you're going to be feeling this as well, this Capricorn full moon. This lunar cycle will ask you to find a balance between family and career responsibilities as they relate to your self-expression and well-being. Pay attention to your intuition, Cancer, as the full moon is sextiling the lunar north node of fate and destiny and evolution. And this sextile will help you to follow your star about your deepest desires, showing you the path to your higher self and your true potential. And that sounds really good. So let's talk about Leo. And Leo, this is in your house of work, health, and daily responsibilities. This is the house that makes your life function. And since the full moon is usually about endings or revelations that can cause endings, there will be some type of release or closure for you. Mercury is retrograde in your sign, so for the next 3 weeks, this can be a time of reflection or waiting on something that needs clarity. You could find clarity or revelation during this full moon cycle, Cancer. And you could be Leo, I beg your pardon, you could be letting go of a job or something work-related, possibly health-related, and you may be feeling your daily routine needs to be rearranged. Saturn, the ruler of the full moon, is in your house of expansion and growth, supporting this rearranging or perhaps a closure that you feel is necessary. Okay, for Virgo, and this full moon takes place in your house of love, creativity, and self-expression. This is your house of romance, children, fun, and activities. And Mercury, your ruling planet, is retrograde in your house of endings. So you may be in reflection about what needs to be released or surrendered as it may relate to your house, to this house of love and children and self-expression. Even the way you enjoy yourself is in this house. And this may also be associated with your social status, how you want to be seen in the world. Your marital status is one example, right? Or if you've retired or, maybe even graduated from college. So that can be a bit of a status change. But this can also be your standing in the community. And Saturn, the ruler of your full moon, is in your house the ruler of this full moon, right, is in your house of intimate relationships and shared resources. This is also a love house, and it's related to transformation, secrets, and the taboo. You could be rethinking your life, Virgo, your relationships, family, and also your attitude toward your social status, your social standing, as I was talking about earlier. The full moon cycle will likely bring you profound change and inner change as you approach these very important areas of your life. And the moon will trine the south node of the past in your sign, Virgo, letting you leave areas of your life or about yourself that no longer serve you, as the moon sextiles the north node, giving you an opportunity for you to follow your heart and follow your aspirations, and to be true to yourself for your highest evolution, especially how this relates to your inner needs and how you relate to others or your relationships. And so for Libra, this is happening in your house of home and family and emotional foundation. This is the house of nurturing, being nurtured, and what makes you feel safe and sound. You're going to feel this because Saturn, the ruler of the full moon, also rules this house. So this is the axis of home and family opposing your house of, this is the axis between home and family and your career and ambition. There's a tension, Libra, between your emotional needs and your responsibilities or your work. And this opposition can bring a need to balance your public life or your work with your personal needs and security. I find that very interesting because my sister is a Libra, and her husband works nights now, and she was complaining about that, right? She's not able to see him much. Your natal Venus is in your house of growth and expansion, philosophy, and spiritual beliefs, supporting this area of your life. And it's conjoining Uranus. You may want more freedom, Libra, more freedom and independence in your family life or your work, or the balance that I was talking about earlier. And Mercury, although retrograde, is sextiling Venus on the 18th, which will last a few days, but this will bring an opportunity, if you can see it, or if it's an opportune time for you to entertain it, with Mercury in your house of gains, the future, and social networks. You may have creative ideas, even breakthroughs that facilitate your growth, Libra, your growth and expansion, and perhaps how you relate to your family or your work. And Saturn, the ruler of the full moon, is in your house of relationships, and this can support you with this dynamic. Okay, for Scorpio, this is happening in your house of communication, information processing, ideas, plans, and goals. This is also your house of siblings and extended family, local community, and short distance travel. You could be having some serious conversations, possibly with someone who you share a strong karmic bond with, about your emotional needs, or about your emotional needs that relate to responsibility in some way. And Mars, your ancient ruler, is in your house of gains, the future. This is your house of freedom and rebellion and unexpected change. And this house is also associated with social groups. And the moon is trining Mars, making things easier for you. And the south node of the past also trining the south node, allowing an ease of flow so that you can take action where needed, and at the same time leave out things that no longer serve you. And this can also be connected to your work, your health, or your daily responsibilities, as it's in Virgo. And the moon is also sextiling the lunar north node, Scorpio, in your house of love, self-expression, and children. There's something very personal going on for you during this transit, Scorpio. Saturn is the ruler of the full moon, and that Saturn, is in your house of work, health, and daily responsibilities. It seems favorable for you, Scorpio, as Saturn, although retrograde, is there sextiling your ruler Pluto in your house of home and family and emotional stability. There's something about truth there that relates to your home and family or your emotional stability. for sure, and something about transformation as well. Your daily routine and lifestyle seems to be becoming what you want it to be. Take your time in making decisions, Scorpio. Don't rush anything. And sometimes with Saturn in Aries, it can make us prone to headaches. So, because Aries rules the head, yes. All right, for Sagittarius, this is happening in your second house of earned income, finances, possessions, and self-esteem. This too is in your house of values and resources. You may be getting serious about how you earn your money, your financial stability, or what you really value. The sun is opposing the moon. The sun is in another money house. Secrets can come to light for you, Sagittarius, about intimate partners, and even revelations and clarity about your money. You might learn something about a past lover when the moon is when we have this opposition, or when we have a full moon, for sure. You may need to nurture partners, Sagittarius. Your focus may be on material security and emotional depth, and at the same time this can cause inner tension. You might be wanting to build financially with an intimate partner, and this can be a desire you feel like you need to fulfill. As the Sagittarius is wanting to fulfill a goal. Remember, Sagittarius is the centaur, and the archer, reaching for the sky. That is a goal that is there. I was watching an esoteric astrologer talk about Sagittarius, and the lower self of Sagittarius, or every sign has a lower self, or kind of the error that Sagittarius can make is once they reach a goal, they reach for another. Once they're able to kind of clinch it or get it in the bag, right, they reach for another one. So we have to be careful for that, the Sagittarians, right? And the moon is sextiling the lunar north node in your house of home and family and emotional stability. There's an opportunity to grow, Sagittarius. That's what this means emotionally. Jupiter, your ruling planet, is in your house of relationships, openness and relating, legalities and opponents. Jupiter is in Cancer, and Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, so this is very favorable, for your relationships. And Saturn, the ruler of the full moon, is in another love house, your house of romance, self-expression, and children, the house also of fun and entertainment. And this is favorable, Sagittarius, as Saturn, although retrograde on July 13th, will still bring structure and maturity to that area of your life. Saturn retrograde is going to have us all of us, thinking about long-term goals and what we've achieved thus far, and building, things like that. And so you may be entering into a very dynamic relationship, Sagittarius, with someone you find intelligent, and where you feel a sense of independence and innovation, and where you feel more authentic in those relationships. All right, so let's talk about Capricorn now. And Capricorn, this is your full moon, right? All right, because the moon is occurring in your sign, in your first house of self, right? This is one way to look at it. On July 13th, your natal Saturn will go retrograde, and this will start a period of reflection. I was just speaking about this, on your assessment on how you're aligning with your goals and your life path thus far, right? And what you've achieved so far, and also potentially any unfinished business going on in your life, right? The vertex is conjoining the moon. You could experience a fated event related to your own identity and your emotional world. It's likely you'll feel a strong sense of fate and destiny associated with this. On the 23rd, the sun will sextile Uranus in your house of work, health, and daily obligations. You have an opportunity for a short window, perhaps, to make a decision and potentially create new work for yourself, a new job, or a daily schedule that will allow more freedom and innovation, perhaps the ability to do things your own way, Capricorn. On the 24th, the sun will trine your natal Saturn, helping you to focus on personal growth and transformation with a grounded and determined approach. That sounds great. And the sun is in your house of relationships. The full moon is asking you to create balance between your own needs, your projects, your career, and your relationships. The sun will move into your 8th house as it enters Leo. And your attitude and interest will then be focused on intimate relationships, shared monies, shared assets, and once again, personal growth. Okay, let's talk about Aquarius now. And so for Aquarius, this lunar cycle is happening in your last house of mystery and intuition. This is your house of closure and the unconscious mind. You may be surrendering to something or releasing something, Aquarius, perhaps with an understanding, an intuitive understandings that can lead to growth. Pluto is in a hidden conjunction with the moon, so this could be something emotional and perhaps transformative and growth related. Pluto is associated with the shadow side and profound change. And your natal Uranus has moved into Gemini to stay for roughly 7 years, and there may be a long period for education and learning, possibly. Maybe you're entering college, possibly, and you're going to get a master's. I feel like that takes a good 7 years, but depending. And so you might be ready for a long period of education and learning, or shifting your communicative style, changing your plans and goals perhaps too, and creating inventive ideas. Yeah, the next 7 years can be a very social time for you, as Gemini is a very social sign where Uranus sits. And Uranus is conjunct Venus, and for a few weeks you could experience an exciting, perhaps although disruptive period of unconventional romance and a focus on enjoying yourself. That sounds good, right? Yeah. You might feel a desire to break free from the usual type of activities that you partake in. And like trying something fun, Capricorn, that is completely Aquarius, sorry, that is completely brand new to you. Yeah. All right. The sun is in your house of work, health, and daily routine. So there could be clarity or a sense of what's significant at this time surrounding those areas of your life. And then the sun will move into your house of relationships on July 22nd, where the focus will change to relationships or how you relate to others and legalities. And so for Pisces, yeah, the Pisces, the full moon, I feel like always affects you in some way because you're a water sign. And originally, or in ancient history, ancient astrology, the moon was your ruling planet. That's right. So the full moon is in your house of gains, the future, social groups, unexpected change, and surprises. This is your house that rules freedom and rebellion. The moon is opposing your house of self-expression, romance, and fun and entertainment. Yeah, this may really resonate with you, Pisces, as the moon rules this house of love and self-expression. The moon is in Capricorn, so you may be feeling that your responsibilities are getting in the way of friendships, or your ability to kind of feel that you are recognized, or your self-expression. And that's one way of this playing out. Another way, Pisces, is you might feel like you're not being recognized for your own creativity, rather than your self-expression, right? Because they're similar. Or your uniqueness, and you might feel lost in the crowd, and even if you are with like-minded people, or even if you are with people that you want to be with, you might feel like you in some way, maybe you work at a job and you enjoy being there and you like the people, but you still feel like you are, there's something about your own self-identity that's being kind of compromised, or maybe not recognized. And so Jupiter, your ancient ruler, is in your house of love and creativity, and this is supporting your relationships, Pisces, or favorability in love, right? You could meet someone or expand an existing relationship. And Pluto is conjoining the moon. And remember, conjoining or conjunction, it's about when something is conjunct, it is two planets usually kind of serving each other, or supporting one another. And Pluto is conjunct the moon. Pluto is supporting personal growth and transformation. That's what it's bringing to the table. You could be feeling a little emotional around the full moon, and you may be seeing your shadow side, which is it's always a good thing, right? It may be difficult, and we all have one. It doesn't mean we need to sit and regret about things that aren't perfect, or things we don't like about ourselves. It means that this can be a time of awakening, right? Pluto can wake us up, as it rules transformation, and it is associated with awakenings and regeneration. And so that is happening in your house of closure. You're going through a change, Pisces. That is exactly how that looks here, a big change. And it seems like you're going through a time of personal expansion. And the moon is trining the north node, of fate and destiny in your sign, making it easier for that personal evolution. And thank you so much, you guys, for watching. And if you'd like to get a reading with me, I do past life readings. I'm a past life regression practitioner. I'm also a psychic, if you'd like to get a psychic reading. And thank you so much for joining me here. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's going to help me get to 4,000 hours of watch time. Yeah, it'll be really helpful, you guys. Thank you so much.